What a lad. Well, today I have someone who I've been trying to get on for a very long time, but having recently played his 100th game for the Hurricanes and becoming the oldest player to ever play Super Rugby, now was the perfect time. And I won't read all the teams that he's played for over his career because it will take up too much time, but let's just say he has had an incredibly successful 19-year career in this wonderful game. But what everyone will know this man for who has played with him will know he's one of the real characters of the game, and you do not find many better lads than this man. It is the great Ben May. Welcome, lad.
Jeez, that's a big intro, mate. That's a good... yeah, thanks for speaking kindly of me. Not many do.
Mate, it's great to have you on. I know we got close a couple of times early on in season one, but we're here now. Great to have you on.
Yeah, mate, I just had a kid, I think, and big old change for the old dad, having a kid. I've been 19 years of footy. I've been the most selfish human on the planet. I'm unsure how I managed to find a wife, but anyway.
You've got there, and you've got your beautiful daughter. How's it all been? Time away from her, locked away in Queenstown.
Yeah, it's difficult. You know what it's like when you got kids, but no, it's all good, mate. I don't have to cook any feeds, and I've got my own room, and I don't have to wake up and do anything with the kids, so it's not too bad. Yeah.
What have you been up to in your wee bubble? How restricted is it there in Queenstown?
Oh, hugely restrictive. No, well, I've actually got a business, another business, Alps Outfitters, and we've got a farm down here that we run, and I've been whipping out there. The main rule is 1.5 meters from anyone else and wearing a mask, so that's relatively easy on a farm.
So you just shoot off?
Yeah, I just take the work wagon out there and do a full day's work on my own.
What about training?
Yeah, no, train, but, days off, Sundays, Wednesdays. I didn't actually expect to play down here, so I thought I'd get more time out there. Next minute I'm having a bloody strip up.
Strip up for your 100th game, though, mate. What an achievement that was. How was the week leading up to that? You mentioned you didn't expect to be playing, but once you were named, what was that like?
Well, I haven't played decent footy for a couple of years. Obviously, I retired, and I've just been dairy farming. So I had a okay pre-season. The first week, I literally thought I was going to end up in ICU. But then I ended up playing a couple of pre-seasons, and I thought I went pretty average, eh? And then all of a sudden my name gets read out to play the Crusaders round one, and I was like, oh, my heart just dropped. And then, so I sort of quickly went into the playbook and thought, I need to sort this out. I need to be good.
You mentioned you retired a couple of years earlier. When did you decide that you were going to give it another crack? You were going to join the Canes for the pre-season?
No, well, Alfie called me up. I was on the tractor about to go and fix a couple of fences, and he called me up, which he often does just for, well, I wouldn't say coaching mentor, but just to run a few things past me. And I just thought it was one of those chats, and we had that chat, and then he says, oh, what are you up to? So I'm just going to fix a couple of fences, Alfie, and he says, well, how's the body? I says, yeah, no, man. As it is when you retire, everything feels good. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, just a question. Owie Franks has just done his Achilles. Would you come in for a week or so? And I was like, no way, Alf. So anyway, we finished that convo, and then I think he rang me back the next day and was like, seriously about that thing, Bam, do you reckon you could come in? And I was like, mate. I said, oh, look, if you desperately need me, I'll come in. You know that. So here I am.
And was 99 a big part of that decision?
Well, yeah, I had the night to sleep on it, and then I thought, shit, maybe I should have said, yeah, I'm keen. And this was in December, you see, and I thought, oh, okay, it can't hurt me too much in a month pre-season. It's not like the old days, the old 8 weeks of just grinding. Turns out you can hurt someone in a week, let alone a month.
How was the pre-season? Looked like you were holding your own in there in the videos I saw.
Mate, I actually smashed the surf to peak.
Did you? Best ever.
Obviously, you got to run at the start.
Yeah.
So I came from the back on the run, and then I smoked the bike, won the bike.
Did you? Shit.
And that got me, you know what that does? That puts you for the hill run ready to go.
Just got gassed on the hill.
Oh, mate, I think I got about 10th.
Oh, yeah. That is pretty good, though.
Which is pretty good out of, well, you know yourself. There's, yeah.
And especially at your age, mate, 39, still going strong. And you're still doing like the wrestling sessions and, you know, the old cog breathing techniques and all that sort of stuff in your pre-season.
Yeah, no, none of the breathing stuff, mate. Just a lot of bashing each other and running.
Is it? No ball in the pre-season?
Yeah, well, we did this year because obviously we only had 4 weeks, and you got to hit the ground running. So we had to do a lot of ball stuff, but they also added a lot of contact ready stuff in, which I struggled with. But got me through that first game. So happy.
Yeah, and how was the game? Obviously against the Crusaders, the team you started with, and mate, bring up your 100th at Forsyth Bar. What was it like?
Oh, it was what every kid dreams of, but I was so geeked and I wanted to be really good that I pretty much didn't do anything. I ran around. I was inaccurate at ruck time. I've just actually had a review with Gibbo, and he's like, "What were you thinking, mate?" And I was like, "Mate, I think I got a little bit emotional and tied up in the occasion." He goes, "Yeah, well, it looked like that. You've been effective at bugger all." So hopefully I get a chance to redeem myself on a chill level.
Did you touch that ball? That question came in a few times, the one they checked.
Oh, I don't think I did. And I think I would have to be a better athlete to have touched it because it was down at the bootlaces, wasn't it? I don't think I got a finger on that one.
Oh, true. Absolute heartbreak because that was a massive turning point in the game, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a few. Yeah. You could tell it was Brendan Pickerell's first game, couldn't you? It was very indecisive. I shouldn't say that. Brendan's a great rep.
Oh, mate, it's a tough job. It's a very tough job. Shout out to Brendan, doing a great job as a referee.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. Yeah.
How's the boys looking? How's the environment been?
It's been good, mate. Yeah, but when you lose to the Crusaders, it's never a happy week after it. So we've been into our work today, and tomorrow's going to be a bit of a grind, I'd say. So,
yeah.
But you know, the boys are really good, so we weren't far off. I'm sure we'll sort it.
Surely, but mate, the oldest player to ever play Super Rugby. What an achievement that is. How does that sit with you?
Well, it's quite demoralising, mate. It was better when no one actually knew my age because everyone sort of puts me around that 35 mark.
Yeah.
But, yeah, now that it's all come out in the open, people are like, what is going on? The guy's like 40. So I think I've sort of flown under that 35 radar for about 10 years.
Yeah, good skincare.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's been, I guess any record when you grow up in Murchison's a good one.
How have you done it? How have you played the game for so long? 39, almost 40. Like literally, is there any secrets or anything? Like,
well, this is KT. KT asked me this after the game, and I said, mate, I don't think you choose longevity; it chooses you. Because I've had heaps of mates like yourself that would still want to be playing footy. We don't all just one day go, oh bugger it, I've had a guts full.
Yeah.
It's normally the body that lets you down, isn't it? So, I just, you know me, I just train like everyone else every day, and I just haven't had that many bad injuries. I've had a knee reconstruction and things early on, but yeah, obviously just have robust genetics.
But you have always done all the things in your sort of prehab and stuff. Your body's always in great shape. Mate, you've got hardly any skin folds over your body for a prop, mate. You're shredded. Do you think that's been a part of it, or it's genuinely been a bit of luck?
Oh, it could be, mate. Yeah, like you say, I love it. I love training. So,
yeah.
I'm always training, and even on my days off, I don't I don't like to relax. I go hunting all day, and sometimes I overdo that side of things. So, but I've had a few weeks when you were in the team where I was getting told off because I was absolutely wrecked on a Thursday from hunting trips. Um, but no, I don't think I train any harder than anyone else, mate. I think it's just genuinely good luck and yeah, I guess perseverance too. I've had a few injuries where I could have pulled pin, but obviously love the game. So the rehab's tough. I know Colsey struggles. He has that many rehab. You know what it's like rehabbing? It's like 6 weeks of the worst crap training you could possibly get through. So that some people do get sick of that, and I see why.
Yeah, fair enough. And is this you done, you think? Is this the last hurrah for you?
Definitely, mate. I've got other obligations now. Kirsty and I are into the dairy farming now, and I need to focus on that. I've been lucky enough she let me come and play this 100th game and maybe a few more until Owie gets back. But, yeah, no, I definitely won't be back next year.
Mate, you've said that many times.
Yeah. I've said goodbye to the boys twice already, and they've huckered me out, so I feel bad.
Do you think you'll get one more?
What, Hucker? Surely.
Oh, it must get to the point. It must get to the point where it's like, oh, come on, Bamma. There's only so many Huckers we can give you.
I don't think they will harken me out this time. I'm hoping to get Team Man of the Year again, just to round that off. We pretty much got both hands on that trophy between me and you.
Yeah, how many times are you up to now? You must be up to about 5.
Oh, no, it wasn't as many as you, but I think I've had at least 3. Yeah.
Hell of a lad, mate. Love it. And you've been massive for that side. But we're speaking like the Canes have been your only side that you've played for. But, mate, you've played for almost every team in New Zealand. But like always, you mentioned Murchison before. I do want to know a little bit more about what your life was like growing up 39 years ago. Give us a bit of a rundown.
Hard to remember, actually, Jimmy. No, it was just like every country kid, grew up on the farm and loved it. We had plenty of scope when I was a young fella, but I always did want to get out. Yeah. And thankfully my parents sent me to Nelson College, which is where I sort of ran into you blokes.
You were way before me. I was still at primary school.
What? Yeah, okay. But I do remember being. Oh no, I coached. Didn't I coach you and your brother or something?
You coached Tom. He mentioned the other night. He was. I think he was 12. Yeah, and you were.
Yeah, right.
You were playing for the Marco.
Yeah. So no. Murchison was great, but I sort of left there, went to Nelson Boys, and never went back. Obviously, I go back there and see family and friends and do quite a bit of hunting, but it was always a dream of mine to get out of there, and I always wanted to play for the Crusaders. Obviously, growing up in Murchison, you're a Crusader, one-eyed fan, but I didn't actually think it was possible, obviously. I don't think many kids do.
Were you good at rugby?
Not particularly, no.
By all accounts, you're a back, were you, to start kicking goals and all sorts?
Yeah, I did. I played for Buller as a second 5, and I kicked the goals. I was actually a good goal kicker, believe it or not.
Jeez, what happened?
I was handy. I also opened the bowling for Buller.
Oh.
I was a quick bowler. And then, I had a big growth spurt at school right at the end there. And, things sort of went from there. It was one of the biggest growth spurts humans will ever see. I probably grew about 80 kilo.
Were you still a 12? What age were you here?
No, this was at the end of school, end of high school.
Yeah, so you'd moved into the front row.
Yeah, I'd moved to number 8, and I stayed there. I played number 8 when I left school, and I went to, took a building apprenticeship down in Christchurch, and I played number 8 down there for a club side called Ashley that Richard Lowe was involved with. Yeah. And then I ended up playing Canterbury 19s, and Rob Penny said, geez, you're not bad at number 8, mate. But I can't see you going any further with your rugby unless you play prop.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I was pretty good at number eight actually, because I was a big man. I was about 115 kilo, and I used to just take it off the scrum as soon as I seen the nut. And yeah, I was going pretty good, but he said that, and I didn't take any notice. I was like, "There's no way I'm playing prop, son. I'm Rasley." And a year later, I sort of the writing was on the wall. I was in the Canterbury Academy, which was lucky, and then Mike Cron actually took me aside and said, "Hey, look, I can help you, son. You come with me for 3 months."
True. And just learnt the craft of a front rower.
Yeah. I think you're born a front rower mentally, though. Every front rower I know is not quite right up top. So if you've got that attribute, you'll go a long way because you have to go into some weird dark places to want to do it.
Yeah. So going back to how you got massive, like, what did you say? You put on like 80 kgs. How did that happen?
Maybe not 80, but I would have been at high school. Would have been maybe 75, 80 kilo, and then by the time I was 18, I was about 110.
Oh, true.
But I do have big genes. I think I was a late bloomer, like a late developer.
Yeah. What were you doing? How were you getting so big? Were you just smashing the gym?
Well, no, I had growing pains and all sorts, so I didn't do gym.
Oh,
It was just
natural.
it was just hostile food, which me know we don't get much of that. No, it was literally a late bloomer, puberty, and just normal growth. I had growth pains in my knees and elbows, and
Yeah.
I grew into a bit of a giant. Yeah.
So when did you turn into a shredded giant?
Oh, I never really carried much fat. No, I never have.
So that's got nothing to do with your training as a young kid, or creatine or supplements or anything like that? Steroids?
No, no. Well, you and me, we get tested quite a bit, Jimmy. So, no, I've never been. Oh, yeah, maybe I probably did have a phase there. I think we all did at sort of end of high school where you're into the protein powder and the creatine, but the creatine never really did anything. It blew me up. Like,
Yeah.
that really turned me into a tank. So I had to lay off that because I couldn't run. But yeah, no, once I made that Canterbury Academy, I put on quite a bit of muscle because we were doing weights and carry on before work, and then back in there in the afternoon. And geez, I actually was going to quit that. It was too much for me.
True.
After 3 years, I was like, I ain't going to make this.
Yeah.
I'm done here. But luckily, on the stroke of that, I made, what did I? Oh, I think Robbie
Nelson
Deans
Bays.
called me on the building site, actually.
Oh, true.
So so I played for Nelson Bays.
This was while you're in the academy, was it?
Yeah, while
Oh,
I was in the Canterbury, and then I went home and I played a season for Canterbury B because Canterbury said, "No, you got to come back."
Oh, yeah.
And then I made Crusaders wider training out of Canterbury B.
Oh, okay.
Like she told Robbie Deans rang me, I was on the building site in Christchurch, and I thought one of the boys was playing a prank on me because Robbie's got a bit of a lisp.
Like John T.
Yeah, like John T. And he rings me and he's like, "Oh, g'day Ben, it's Rob Deans here. Just want to inform you that you've made the Crusaders wider training group." And I was like, who the F is this? One, because, I had lots of mates like yourself who played pranks on me. And I basically called him, like, just wouldn't have his convo, and he hung up. He said, "Oh, Tony Thorpe will be in touch." He must have hung up and gone, "What? Who have I picked here?" And sure enough, Tony Thorpe rang me up, and then I had to tell my boss, I was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to finish up work in 2 weeks. I'm going to play for the Crusaders." Yeah.
True. Oh, that's hard case. Robbie Deans.
Yeah, he would have been. He probably still thinks that Ben knows a muppet.
But that's one thing you've always been known for throughout your career is your ability to just say what you think or be yourself. Like, you've never really held back with your feelings or what's on your mind. You pretty much say. So you were always like that even back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been. sometimes to my detriment, but yeah, I've always been like that, mate. And I know I've riled a few coaches up, but we got there in the end, mate.
Yeah. And what was it like going into that Crusaders environment?
Mate, it was awesome. It was like I say, every kid south of Wellington and basically north of Alexandria wants to be a Crusader if you're playing rugby.
Yeah.
So I was just in awe for quite a while there, and I just put my head down and, well, no, like I say, I still said what I thought and got told off for it. I think guys like Leon McDonald, Rangy was playing back then,
Yeah.
and he'd just be like, "Shut up, Bam," um, and that was good for me because those boys taught me a few things.
Yeah.
But it was a dream come true, like I said, and really grateful for that opportunity. I remember debuting for them, and my first ever scrum, I was in Johannesburg, and I got a tight head. I just was that pumped up. I just pumped the scrum, and I remember Flinny saying, "Shit, horse, you better settle down with high altitude here. You'll blow out." And I was like, I was just full hiss.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool.
Did you blow out?
No, they only gave me about 7 minutes. Enough time to pump somewhere in a scrum and run around and clean a few rucks, and she was all over. That was the debut.
So why'd you move the Crusaders? Because you only played a couple of games for them, didn't you? So what was the reason behind the move?
Oh, mate, it was a factory back then. It probably still is.
Yeah.
I had 4 All Black props in front of me, and you only played 3 back then. There was none of this 2 on the bench, and they were fairly well, they were really good props. And I, being a young impatient guy, there was also props, Wyatt Crockett and Ben Franks and Greg Somerville and Campbell Johnson, like they were stacked. Yeah. Dave Hewitt, they were stacked, and I thought there is no way I'm getting in the top 3 of those in the next 5 years, and probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I wasn't openly looking, but I remember I didn't even have an agent, mate. And then someone said, "Oh, you need to get an agent," and I was like, "Oh, righto." So I went and met Warren Alcock at some hotel in bloody Christchurch, and he reckons when I walked in, he was like, "There's no way this guy's not playing Super Rugby next year. Like, he's a giant." And he basically got me. He just was like, "Mate," he must have rang every club, every franchise, and go, "Look, I've got this guy. You probably haven't seen him bugger all, but his name's Ben May, and he's 130 kilo prop." So I went to the Chiefs in Waikato.
So were you playing for Tasman at this time?
Yeah, 2006 I played for Tasman, the inaugural Tassie Marcos.
Yeah, number 3, Tasman Marco number 3.
Yeah, absolutely loved it there, mate. That was another big highlight of my life playing for Tassie, because I'd played for Nelson Bays. I grew up there, and when I was playing for Nelson Bays, we had massive battles with Marlborough. Yeah. There was the Battle of the Bombays and the Battle of the Bridge. That was that, and the next minute we're amalgamated.
Yeah.
And I was always going home. I was like, I'm heading home to do that. It sounds cool. They were throwing a bit of cash around back then too. So.
Lead your mind through you all sorts.
Yeah. He said, "I'll give you 40 grand," and I just about dropped the phone. I was like, "Yeah, I'm there."
And you were a pretty loose unit back then too. You had all sorts of mates like Twisty and stuff probably in your ear. But mate, any loose stories from your time at Tasman?
Mate, funny story about Twisty, because Twisty played tight head prop for Marlborough when I was playing loose head prop for Nelson Bays. And he was a little maggot. And anyway, we're playing this game, and he's just an awkward little guy to scrum against. And anyway, I was getting pissed off, and I was a bit loose when I was a young fella, and I said to Twisty, I didn't know him, I said, "Oi, if you keep doing that, I'm going to punch you in the head." And then next scrum, he did this thing, like rolled his shoulder, and we collapsed. So anyway, I said to big Gavin Briggs, he's a stalwart of Nelson Bays, like legend of Nelson Bays, he plays hooker, and I told him, I said, look, I'm going to have to sort this guy out. And he goes, yeah, no, do that. So we had a scrum, and I managed to keep Twisty up this one time, and then I just stood up and just give him a massive left hook straight in the temple, and he just went doof and drops face flat on the paddock. And I was shocked. I was, jeez, and I ran off. I just took off thinking I'm in so much trouble here. This is like an NPC on TV game. Anyway, Twisty gets stretchered off. He doesn't know where he's at. And he hits me up after the game, and he was like, "Oh, that was look at the massive egg." And we ended up being best mates pretty much from that day forward. And then he got named in the Tasman team with me.
Yeah.
So that was sort of the next time I seen Twisty. But Tassie, mate, she was pretty rough and ready that first year. Bit like when a new franchise starts up the Sunwolves and that, it's all good fun and until you start getting pumped every week. I mean, we had cheerleaders and fireworks for our first game. We thought we'd crack life.
Yeah, they didn't last long.
No, they didn't last long, and neither did the decent wages. So, but that wasn't why I left. I obviously back then you couldn't. To be a chief, I had to sign for Waikato because the Crusaders, they would.
Yeah.
Your franchise got first pick of their Mitre 10 Cup teams. So, in order not to end up back at the Crusaders, which I thought wasn't my best option, I signed for Waikato so I could stay up there.
You were one of the old dogs at Tasman's, but you must have been young because I remember you and Twisty roping me into the room one time and tying me up and chucking a blanket on me and doing all sorts to me. But you must have been. I felt like you were 30 back then because I think I was 19. But you must have been like what mid-20s.
Yeah. No, I wasn't even mid-20s when I started at Tasman.
Yeah.
I think did I play 2 years there? I think I played.
Yeah, you must have.
06, 07 maybe, because I played 30-something games for them, so I must have played a couple of years there. Yeah, didn't I put your bike up on the scoreboard also?
Yeah, that's right. I was never sure it was you, but now I knew it was someone.
I should have probably spent more time sorting out my footy than playing pranks on everyone, but. Remember the time we put the deer carcass in the front seat of the solly wagon?
Yeah. Well, I think it was Jack Lamb's or someone's car and belted up the deer in the front seat. Put it hooves on the steering wheel. She was pretty. It was great times down there, mate. But I was only sort of early 20s, and it was. Just living the days of my life. It was awesome. Yeah. So then you talked about your move up to Waikato, why that happened. And then what was it like going into the Chiefs? Obviously a few good lads up there as well.
Yeah, really enjoyed my time at the Chiefs. It was a good grow up sort of stage for me because I got thrown in the mixer. I've gone from Crusaders having to play every now and then with the best players in the world to Nathan White got a back injury and I had to start at tight head, and I'd never really played tight head.
Yeah.
And I wasn't that good at it back then. I was just a big body. So I had to learn really quickly up there. And, it was good. Fozzie was the coach back then, and he probably pulled his hair out about me. But I was actually quite Rasley at the Chiefs. I had the infamous line break and the dummy chip to Digby Ione, who fell for it, so I carried on, and a bit of a goosey on Quentin Shivkowski or whatever his name was, and yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was one of the most popular questions that came in for you. Talk about that run. That was one of the greatest runs. We all sort of have a moment in our career where things just happen for you, and that was your one. One of the great moments.
Mate, I've literally, there was a hole about as big as a bus in the middle of the field, and Liam Messham's just put the ball in it, and I've had it at pace. There's one guy standing there, and it's Digby Ione, and for some reason, I must have been doing it at trainer saying I've just dummy chipped, and he's put his arms up. And I've just carried on, run straight past them, pretty much like, this is unreal. And yeah, it was, yeah. What was that guy's name? Quinton Shimkosk? He was an ex-leaguey
Yeah, I
playing
know
for
the
the
one.
Reds.
Yeah, that was.
And I knew he could tackle, so I didn't
Yeah.
want to run straight at him. So I did a bit of a swerve and then tried to goosey him. And he managed to get tangled up in my legs, and I fell short by about, I don't know, 2 inches of scoring a try.
Oh, you went back to your old Buller days back at second five, just pulling out the absolute
Yeah.
razzle.
Yeah. Sadly, that's pretty much where the razzle ended in my career. I did a knee. I did my ACL the next year, I think it was, in 2009, and yeah, there wasn't much razzle left in me when I came back from that. She was
True.
more focused on holding scrums up in the graft.
Yeah, how hard was that injury to come back from?
Oh, it's huge, mate. It took me. I missed 2010 season completely. It was a pretty bad rupture. I bent my left foot right round and sat on it basically.
Oh,
And then I was coming back okay after surgery. Well, first of all, they didn't think I'd done my ACL, so they made me rehab for 4 months and then play. And I was playing going, this is no good. Like, I literally can't feel my foot. So anyway, I got an MRI and ended up getting surgery. But yeah, when I was coming back from that, I prolapsed a disc trying to do squats and my back, and it was just a cluster of nightmares. But it was all good. Came back after that and played another 12 years.
and still going strong.
Yeah.
You mentioned squats there, and that's always been a big part of your training, hasn't it? You always love a big, heavy squat.
Yeah, squat till you die, me and Twisty used to say. And we used to say that you get 20% crossover to your upper body.
Is that a true stat?
I don't think so, but we used to tell Wayne Taylor that. Mate, we had I had squat costumes and all sorts. I just loved a good squat, and it became more of a it was almost like a party trick.
Yeah.
Massive squats, not doing the trainers program, and all the young guys are watching the. We must have to do squats. Ben May's doing like 240, 260 squats every Monday, and it was just a nightmare for trainers because obviously squats aren't the be all and end all of a gym session.
And will you still squat like when you finish, like, or is this just a rugby thing?
No, I think you have to, mate, when you're a prop because we've got big upper bodies. You don't want little pencil legs once you're finished.
You'll end up like me.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely squat. I've actually bought a home gym setup because of COVID, and I'll probably put that down the cowshed when I get home.
Mate, you're gonna just keep playing. I can see it. I can sense it.
Yeah. Well, it would be quite a strange thing because I've actually, touch wood, got zero injury issues at the moment. It'd be a cool stat to play to 45. I just don't think I'll find anyone to sign me, mate.
Mate, there's always a shortage of props. Yeah, the props are always going down, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay fit, stay ready.
Yeah.
But did you have much success on the field at the Chiefs, like post your injury?
Yeah, the year we made the final, year was that? Well, that might have been 2000. We got rolled by 70 over in Pretoria versus the Bulls, but everything up until that was phenomenal. But no, obviously played New Zealand Māoris a lot every year since about 07. I think I debuted for them. It was, we didn't have... pretty much the year I left, the Chiefs won it back to back, so maybe that's...
You set the foundations.
Yeah, exactly what I like to say.
Talk to me about the Māoris, though. We just had Elliot Dixon on a few weeks ago. He obviously spoke about a few loose yarns about his Māori times, but you were obviously before him as well, like well before him, so it must have been even looser back in your day.
Oh, mate, it was Yeah, I don't know where it came from, but I remember my first tour. What happened? Yeah, it was just because back in those days, the DDs, if you weren't playing, you'd go out the
Yeah.
night before the game. So, I mean, we had some nights that we didn't even get home in time for the game. And I didn't know what was going on. I was just doing what I was told, Um, and it's obviously all changed now, but I can't remember, mate. We've had some real loose nights. I remember this one time, Jamie Joe was coaching, and he literally said to me, I must have been a senior player by then, and he says to me in Pig Eaton, Pig, Bam, we just got off the plane in London. Pig, Bam, sort the boys out tonight, which means take the boys out on the Raz.
Yeah.
So we go do an all-nighter, as you do in the Māori. And then Jamie Joe's got this meeting at 7 a.m. the next morning. So we roll in there, dusty as he doesn't turn up. So someone has to go get him. He's asleep. He comes down. Right, boys, on the bus. So we're on the bus, like, oh, what are we up to? We've just been on an absolute bender that he told us to go on.
Yeah.
Boys are still cut. And then we get to the ground, mate, and it's a stodgy English, wet, terrible muddy ground. And he just starts, he gets the trainers to warm us up, and then he takes over, mate. We're doing an hour-long military Jamie Joe session. And the boys, Carlo blew his calf out, and he's just yelling at the physio, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? Physio's like, no, he's no good. He's like, no good to me. Get rid of him. He doesn't play for the rest of the tour. Ross Filippo did his back. He doesn't play for the rest of the tour, and the guys are dropping like flies. I'm still pissed. I'm just getting through it because I've always been pretty good at fitness sessions. And I'm looking around going, what is this? This is battle for survival of the fittest here. Oh, and that was Jamie Joe's way of, starting off a Maldives tour. We literally had 21 guys that were fit to play for the first game. It was phenomenal, but other than that.
Good times.
Yeah, good times.
And did it get much more professional as the years went through? Because you're obviously in that side, like you said, for probably about 10 years.
Yeah, definitely did, mate. It's not quite like that anymore. Still have good fun. But the Māori rugby definitely brings out, it even made me Rasley in my later years because it just, the culture and the whakapapa and everything that you learn about, it's pretty cool, mate. There's a long lineage of Māori rugby and it goes right back, and we get so geeked up for games on it, and we just get told to pull trigger, and it's just no better. You know the feeling when you get told you're allowed to pull trigger with not many repercussions. It's pretty cool footy. Yeah. I had some good games for the Māoris. I remember I scored 2 tries in one game against Ireland over in, it might have been Exeter's home ground, which was pretty cool. Yeah. Back when Angus MacDonald was playing and guys like that. There was some... Yeah, so awesome team to be a part of. Hoping to make... I'm pretty sure they're playing Ireland here in New Zealand this year, so I'm pretty sure I'll be on that team.
Mate, stay fit, stay ready.
I've got no chance, son, but it'll be good. Maybe I'll get called up, might be a scrum liaison or something.
Mate, you'll be in there after your performance in the weekend. You've still got it.
Yeah.
But then the move to the Hurricanes from the Chiefs. Why was this move?
Well, my old man got crook, and I was driving from Hamilton all the way back to Murchison just with the ferry. It was taking.
Oh, wow.
It was a killer.
The Inter-Islander.
And I thought, bugger this. I did a season of that, and I was like, bugger this. So I actually rang Mark Hammett direct and just, I didn't tell my agent. I just, I just one day I was like, frig, why am I driving all this way? And so I rang Mark Hammett and said, here you going, Hammer? It's Ben May here. I see you coaching the Hurricanes next year, and I didn't know of all the controversial. Well, he was coaching them at the time, 2011. This was,
Oh, yeah.
and I didn't really know all the controversy that was going on there at the time, and
Yeah.
I said, I told him my situation. I said, we wouldn't mind coming playing for you, and he was like, what? With the Hurricanes? What do you mean? I was like, oh no, I'm just I want to come play for you. So anyway, he signed me up, and the rest's sort of history.
Did you know him from the Crusaders?
Oh, not really, no.
Yeah.
I just got his number and rang him.
Well, it was a smart decision.
Yeah, no, it was, mate. It was. It was awesome too. 2012. It was a big. I won't say. Well, it was a sort of a rebuild year. Like, we lost a lot of experience in 2011, and we had a really young side in 2012, and young Colsey and a young Jeremy Thrush and a young Brad Shields, and young myself. Really, I didn't have a clue. I wasn't that good at anything yet, but we just hooked in, and it was cool.
And you moved in with big Jason Eaton, a favourite of the Waterlad listeners. What was it like living with him?
Mate, it was a massive experience. It was Jason Eden, as you would have heard him on your podcast. Actually, he's old school. He got sort of taken under his wing by Andrew Hoare at an early age, who's a bloody top man, and he's older school. He's Andrew Hoare's a top man. So Pig sort of did that. He sort of taught us that sort of, I guess, lifestyle. And then there was a young Bowden Barrett, a young Richard Buckman, and a medium, middle-aged Ben May. And we all lived in Jason Eden's house out in Kandala. We learnt some things.
Go on.
Would you like me to allude on it?
Yeah, go on. Let's hear it.
So Pig wouldn't let us go home after games. We had to go to the East Establishment bar because he knew the owners, and not that we were, we didn't fight him on it. We were like, yeah, cool. And he literally wouldn't let us go home till 6 a.m. till the sun come up. And so anyway, then we'd roll home. We'd go through the drive-through at McDonald's. He'd order like 35 cheeseburgers. And every Sunday you'd wake up and there'd be 32 cheeseburgers sitting on the lounge floor. And we never ate the friggin' thing. Sometimes I'd whip one in the microwave if I was real hungover and eat it the next day. And then, so that was that. And then he'd order for like a mid-afternoon snack / dinner would be like 12 Hell's Pizzas. And that was our dinner / all-day grazing. And then he'd tell us on Monday, don't let anyone know that you've been drinking, and you better front. And we're like, yep, righto, Pig, and we'd be ruined. We'd just play. We've all played 80s back then because you don't it wasn't that you didn't have subs. And mate, we'd be playing 80s week in, week out, then drinking till 6 a.m. every weekend. It was just, I don't know, you look at rugby now and think about, you wouldn't do that now.
No, recovery.
Mate, and that was our flat for the whole year. I mean, it was phenomenal. And then when we came back from overseas trips, we'd have to get our quota of spirits. And then we'd have... they'd be like pre-drinks before we'd go do things. So we'd shoot back to the flat and we'd have to drink. We'd have teams, mini golf teams in the house. So it was normally me and Bodie versus Pig and Buckman. And we'd have to drink this bottle of spirits in our team whenever we lost. And, oh, mate, we'd turn up to social things just plastered. It was some flat, mate. It was phenomenal.
Mate, hell of an introduction for Bodie, first year playing.
So he's not an All Black at this stage. He's first year, just green, and this is how he's getting shown the ropes. And it was mate, the guy and Buckman also Buckman didn't need any encouragement, but oh my god, both absolute great players, and literally while they're living in that situation, we're never going to find their full potential. It was.
Oh, that's loose. And any other moments in your Hurricanes career that stand out for you?
Yeah, obviously the final. Well, 215 when we didn't win the final was I'd just come back into the side in 215 because I went to Japan for a couple of years, and yeah, that was tough. That was tough. And then when we won it, we were always going to win it in 2016 because we had Gary Gilt and the big chip on our shoulders from 2015, and no one was going to get near us. I mean, the last 3 games of that season in 2016, no one scored a dot against us.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one beating us. So that was kind of cool. It was a cool feeling too, because I remember playing the final and I was starting, me, Colsey and Lonnie the bear, the Tongan bear. And Wellington really turned it on for us that night. And you were playing, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the coldest, shittiest, sideways, windiest, crappest night, and these boys had flown from Africa. The Lions had flown into play in this, and I pretty much knew driving to the game we're going to win this final. Like, I'd won it. Because we were so well drilled too, and no one had scored a dot against us, and we weren't changing anything. So as a player, you're like, well, all I've got to do is what I did last week, and a little bit better maybe, and no one's going to touch us. Like, they're not going to score a try. And sure enough, they didn't. Yeah. And they tried early on, and they actually tried. They kicked the ball dead off the first kickoff so they could do a scrum to try and pump us. That was their weapon.
Deliberate.
Yeah, and obviously that didn't work for them. And then about 3 scrums later, we pumped them. Oh. And their locks started blowing up at their props because obviously that was their plan for the week.
Yeah.
And their locks are blowing up in Afrikaans at their front row that Colsey's just given a spray because we've ended up on top of them. And that was pretty much them done. And I remember via Fafita getting a hold of Yenchies a couple of times, and that was the end of them. They just wanted to. I'm pretty sure if the ref said, "Oh, lads, do you want to finish this up at 60?" They would have said, "Yeah, we're going. Get us in the showers." Yeah.
I remember their 9 doing box kicks in the warm up, and one went like backwards from, and he just looked at me like, "Oh no, this is not good for me."
Yeah, that was their plan: scrum penalties, box kicks, and line out mauls. And we blitzed every one of them, and then the weather did the rest. So. That was a massive part of, it was just a big achievement because we'd built that team since 2012 and we were basically rookie no-ones at the time. But then we had, obviously, Julian Savia and Artie Savia and TJ Pettinar and Bowden Barrett. By the time we got to 215, 216, we were a good side, yeah.
Yeah. And did you play in the Lions game?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I think we drew that.
Yeah, what was that like? Especially for a front rower.
Yeah, cool. I'd already had a crack at them with the Māoris in Rota Vegas, and we actually lost that game. I think we spent more time on the haka and the and all the other stuff than we did sorting out the game plan, and they beat us. But mate, yeah, to play against the British and Irish Lions is another thing that you don't dream of doing when you live in Murchison as a kid. Mm. I mean, that's just rock star stuff. I mean, I remember watching Dan Carter in 2005 as a fan.
Yeah.
The year before I'd played any decent footy, really. And the Lions 2005 when DC just lit them up was something special. And then to be able to play them twice in my career was phenomenal. Mm. And that, what do they come once every 12 years? Mm. There's guys that won't even get a look at them. So it was cool.
And were you ever close to being an All Black? You're speaking about scrummaging against the Lions and stuff. Did you ever get feedback about or how close you were to becoming an All Black?
Yeah, I had a couple of good meetings with All Black coaches, but obviously 2009, before I did my knee, must have been in the running. I had meetings and I had work-ons and things. And then again, it might have been 2012. But yeah, it's hard to know. Looking back now, I don't know if I would have been good enough. I've never been real top of my game, but I have really good games sometimes. But I don't know. The All Blacks are All Blacks for a reason, mate. They got X Factor in that, which I don't really believe I have X Factor. But so I don't know. But would have enjoyed getting the opportunity and the challenge, but never came, so don't regret it.
Was that the reason why you moved to Japan, or was that part of the reason you weren't quite getting a look in from the All Blacks and you thought this was your time?
I actually had preconceived ideas that you were supposed to go overseas when you were about 30.
Yeah. So
I sort of just rang Wazza and Ports and said, 30. So do you want to have a look overseas for me? And they came back with, because 30 as a prop going overseas is pretty, you're quite marketable.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to France, actually. And then, and then thank God I didn't. I would not have been playing on the weekend. They would have killed me over there. And then just on we're sort of sorting out contracts and that, and then Ports just rings me and goes, "Hey mate, I don't know if you'll be interested in this." And no prop's ever gone to Japan to play rugby, but there's a club that wants you to go there.
Yeah.
And it was Jamie Joseph's club, actually, and the Sunix Blues. And I was like, no. Not keen on that. And then anyway, he says, have a think about it. And I had a thought about it. And I was like, I'm going to go to France and just week in, week out get honed out by angry French, and big Georgians. And, like, you earn your money in France as a tight head prop. Like, you got to be good. Or go to Japan and who knows, see how you get on. You'll either be a raging success or a failure. So I went to Japan, and I actually played out the season at the Canes, and then I was off pretty much straight away, as you do. And I remember sitting on the plane flying to Tokyo, and I hadn't even given the language barrier as a thought. And then I thought, geez, I'm pretty sure these blokes over here don't speak English and that. And then, sure enough, I went to a non-English speaking club, and I didn't even know how to say konnichiwa. Like, I didn't even know. Oh, mate, tough gig.
Did you have a translator?
Nah.
True.
No, I just had guys in the team that could speak both, Bryce Robbins and Huddy Makati. So they said it was just. The first couple of months was real. Yeah. I couldn't even... I remember going to the supermarket once, and I put all the stuff on the counter, and I found out later, all she asked was, do I want a plastic bag in Japanese? And I couldn't answer, so she didn't give me my stuff, and I didn't pay, and then I just walked off. And I'm like, off to Macca's. I couldn't even get food. It was such a sideshow. Oh, mate. So I had to, luckily, after that incident, I got one of the young guys, Aki, that he'd been in New Zealand and he could speak both, and so he took me to the supermarket. And, it was a battle, mate. She was hard times.
And what was the footy like? Because obviously it's grown a little bit from when it was back then to what it is now. It's a little bit more of a different beast. But what was it like for you as a prop going over there then?
Oh, mate, I went real good in the first game because I'd only played Super about a week ago. And I was hissing against Panasonic. And then, sort of slowly slipped down the... my skill level must have slipped a wee bit. But, it was cool. It was good. Plenty of running and got a bit of ball carrying and things that I wasn't used to back at Super, and no, it was really cool culture, as you know. You were at Coke, and great. We were just down the road from each other, so it was an awesome part of Fukuoka's an awesome spot if you ever get to go there, and just really enjoyed the lifestyle, the food, the people, and it was a good, really. Well, I think it was really good for me as a human, just experiencing something like that.
Yeah, were you just living by yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a 4-bedroom penthouse apartment. Yeah, it's a weird time. Weird time. I remember buying a 150cc Vespa scooter that I didn't know you weren't allowed. You had to have a license, and I used to just drive around on that. I got pulled over by the police. I couldn't speak Japanese, and they rang my club, and the club's like, Ben son, no scooter, no scooter. And then I'd turn up the next day on my scooter, like I had a bloody surfboard rack on the scooter, and oh, mate, she was a sideshow. They would have been like, geez, this guy's an absolute nightmare.
Mate, that language barrier is tough, especially when you get rattled like things like that with the police in the supermarket.
Yeah. Yeah, like all I had to say is, hey, or no.
It's because they speak so fast.
I know, but they'd wave the bloody plastic bag in front of you. Like,
Yeah.
but she just stood there and said, did nothing, like blank face. I was like, we're done. This transaction's over.
And then how hard was it with your rugby coming back to Super Rugby after playing a couple of years in Japan? Was that hard, especially for a prop?
Oh, hugely. It took me 12 months, mate. I came back. I actually came back. I was coming home to retire, actually. I'd had enough over there.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a wife or anything. So I was coming home to find a wife at 32.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll go back to the farm and sort of, I'm done.
Yeah.
And just before I came home, I think Chrono rang me and was like, mate, what are you up to? I said, I'm on my way home. I'm done. He says, oh, mate, we need a prop. Can you fly in straight to Auckland and we'll pick you up, and then you play this pre-season, and then we're off to Joburg. We're off to Africa for 3 weeks, and if you go all right in the game, you'll be coming. Oh, yeah? Oh, got no one to answer to it. Didn't have a missus. I don't even know if I'd told my old man I was going home. And so they picked me up from Auckland Airport. I'm playing against Tony Woodcock, one of the OG greats of our game, Loosehead, and I'm like, oh no. So I've literally no trainings with the Hurricanes. We go out to some park in Auckland and play, and I managed to hold Woody out for 25 minutes. Chrono's like, job done, you're on the plane. And then I'm off to Africa. 3 weeks with the boys. But, answer to that, I ended up, I think I got a blood clot or something. I played against the Lions, and
That's right.
I think I might even have dished up the Lions' first scrum. I was on there, got a tight head, and Chrono just thought, this is awesome. And then I got a blood clot from the flights, because I'd flown pretty much. I pissed up in Japan because I was never coming back. So I pissed up hard for 2 days, jumped on a flight, straight off the flight, played a game, and then I'm back on a flight. I ended up getting a blood clot in my calf. But yeah, it took me a good 12 months to get back to where I needed to be as a prop playing Super Rugby in New Zealand after being in Japan. And I think you see the same with like Guzzler, Big Brody Retallick, and it's a big physical change, and just, she's tough gig.
Yeah. Mate, that's crazy. That's crazy, your story there about coming back to the Canes. Because I remember you being, you're 32, you're one of the old dogs, and it felt like you were thinking about retirement. Didn't know it was that close, but look at you, 7 years later, still going. Unbelievable, mate. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and then Yeah, it just sort of, yeah, I don't know what happened, but I ended up signing contract after contract, 1 year gigs for the next 7 years.
And you changed provincial regions a lot during that time as well. You had Wellington, Hawke's Bay.
Well, yes. So the first year, I just ended up staying in Wellington. Oh, because I met Quab, I met Kirsty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, through Bodie. So I ended up staying in Wellington because she was in Wellington. So I thought, oh, well, I don't really care who I play. I'll just stay here. And so I stayed in Wellington, and then I don't know how I ended up at Hawke's Bay for 5 years, but some reason I went up there, which was awesome, actually. I loved Hawke's Bay, and I met some really good guys, and I still keep in contact with all those boys up there. It was a real good fit for me, Hawke's Bay.
Yeah.
Just a good country sort of vibe, and they just go hard, and they love mauls and big scrums, and it was just a great fit for me at the age that I was, and it was cool up there. So I actually, and then I played for Taranaki about a year ago.
Yeah.
I moved up to Taranaki to sign off, and that was me thinking, I'll give back. I'll do a bit of coaching and playing, and ended up playing the All Blacks for the Ranfurly Shield. Canterbury, for some, I don't know how Canterbury managed it, but they had every All Black that they had possible could played against us in a Shield game.
That's right.
Actually got quite a good yarn about that if you want to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, mate, of course.
So it's Shield week, Taranaki versus Canterbury, and they have their whole All Black team, Moody, Cody Taylor, you name it, they've got it. Sam Whitelock, Richie Moanga, Bridgie was on the wing. They were just unbelievably strong, and All Blacks must have been on a break. And then so we got Bodie and Geordie, not Scott, just Bodie and Geordie.
Yeah.
And so we're like, right, okay, well, we're heading to Christchurch for the Shield. So we Shield weeks are a little bit different in Mitre 10 Cup. It's it's a thing, isn't it? You make it, which is cool too for the young guys, because it is a complete different beast. Like, you throw the kitchen sink at that game to win it, Anyway, so Bodie and Geordie come back. We go to golf on the Wednesday, as you do, and we turn up to golf, and there's a 24 box of I think it was Waikato Draft in each cart, and so we felt obliged to drink them because someone had put them there for us. So we drank basically 12 bottles each on the round of golf on 18 holes, and we thought it'd be a good idea. We went back because I was living down the coast of Taranaki in Kirsty's hometown. We'll call in there and have a beer. We ended up there pretty much most of the night. So we had to stay at my house. Pulled out the air bed, pumped that up. Bodie's on the couch. And Bodie's in the single bed in the baby's room. And we've ended up having quite a large night, which is not good, but we did. It's done now. And so we woke up, all three of us, and thought, geez, we're going to have to front today. So I cooked us a big feed of sausages and eggs, and we headed into training. And someone says to me, we're in the huddle, and someone says, geez, who was drinking? Like, it smells like a brewery. And I was just like trying not to breathe, dunno. And a big old hissing Thursday training, you know what they're like, just full contact. We're lighting each other up, and then it's just straight home for recovery before captain's run. Anyway, we head down after captain's run to Christchurch, and we park up there, and I'm back as soon as we get off the plane, back to bed, just trying to get the carcass right, and then we we turn up there on game day, and it's a big old match. Like we've got All Black versus All Black all across the park, and we are just into it and lighting each other up. And it was it's a great game. We ended up winning. So then we're back on the piss for the Shield, and no, we hadn't told anyone what we'd been up to. But we sort of let the cat out of the bag about 4 a.m. the next morning what we'd done, and that was the secret to winning the Shield.
Oh, mate, that's crazy.
No, it was cool.
And you had a few good Shield wins too. I remember one in particular when you were at Waikato.
Yep.
And I was at Taranaki, and we'd gone the whole season without holding that Shield. And then you guys come, spoil the party right for the summer. Unbelievable game from, I think, yourself and Tim Mickelson from memory. Absolutely run amok.
Mate, we hadn't hardly won a game all season. So I remember having a cup of tea the night before the game with Weka, Craig Clark, and basically he sort of felt sorry for us, and I sort of agreed with him that we were no-show. Yeah, because we knew each other since we were young, and it was sort of like a gentleman's agreement that, we've had a rough year, Weka, and he was like, it's been tough to watch, hasn't it? And we basically, over a cup of Earl Grey, agreed that we've come down here and nothing's going to change. And 20 minutes into the game, Timmy Mickelson's already scored 4 dots. And I'm just looking across, we're about to do a scrum, and I'm thinking, we're on here, lads. And we're on top, everything's coming off for us. And then we started pumping your scrum, and Pig Eaton's throwing punches, and James Broadhurst is just blowing. And I was just loving it. I was in a bloody. I thought I was in a dream. It was that good. Yeah. When we ended up taking the Shield. I think we scored about 40 points and took the Shield back to Waikato. We played one game against Hawke's Bay, and that was the end. And we had the Shield for the summer. And geez, did we make the most of it?
Oh, what's it like holding the Shield for the summer?
Oh, phenomenal, mate. You know what it's like. You take it to barbecues. You do all sorts of shenanigans with it. It ends up. For some reason, it always ends up in a fire somewhere. It ended up in a fire at Spates Ale House, and we're all just, what are we doing? This thing's legendary. Yeah. But we do silly things with it, and mate, I seriously to this day, my Shield experiences are probably, they're right up there with the best experiences of my rugby career. Yeah. Absolutely, hands down. Love that thing and what it does for New Zealand rugby, and still to this day, I mean, it's what we always talk about, eh? They're the games, you don't talk about so much about winning the finals or, playing against the Lions. They're the ones that when you get around your provincial, you talk about the Shield. Yeah. And all the great times you have with it, and it's just cool. They made that Shield in your house and stuff, because I think it holds. There's so many great men have had that Shield and played for that Shield, and you're a part of it, and it's real cool, and it's an achievable thing for every Mitre 10 Cup team. So it's wicked. If
the Naki get an early Shield challenge, is he putting the boots back on?
Mate, no. I actually talked to Neil Barnes today. He wanted to know what I was up to. I said, mate, I literally have to knuckle down and get this farming sorted. Yeah. Otherwise, Kirsty's dad's going to tell me to bugger off, I'd say.
So is that the plan? Is that the plan for you now? Get back after this season, get back to the farm?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hooking into the farm again and just watching footy, and just moving on. We need to have some more kids, and I need to rest my 40-year-old body before it completely flies apart. And I think it's time for me, mate. There's some good young guys coming through, especially at the Hurricanes and Taranaki, and it's my time to. I think I've given yeah, plenty back with my experience in the last couple of years, as much as I can, whether that good or bad for the team. But I think, yeah, it's definitely time for me to move on, mate, and I'll just be happy that I'm still fit, with no injuries, touch wood, and given New Zealand footy everything I can, and had a good run.
Mate, you're a legend. And speaking of injuries, what's your head like? Because I know like Carl Heyman's obviously come out. Front rowers obviously a little bit more prone to the dementia side of things. Have you had any issues with your brain, or have you noticed anything different from when you started?
No, it depends who you ask, Jimmy. I mean, if you ask my wife, she thinks I've got dementia and what is it, bipolar? She reckons, but I don't think she realises that I've had that since I was about 12. So, nah, mate. Serious note, I've been bloody lucky. I think I've had a couple of head knocks and that, but mate, nothing like some of my mates, like my good mate Reggie and Broady, and I really feel for those guys that had to pull pin on their career when they were just getting started in the big stuff. All black for Broady, and Reggie was definitely going to be an All Black. So real tough to go through that with them and still be playing at 40, because I know they must be going, what? How on earth has he managed that? And we all got cut short at 25, So, but no, touch wood, I'm not too bad, mate. I think I'm pretty normal in the head department, as normal as I was ever going to be. So, yeah, pretty happy.
So what's work involved on the farm for you? Is it hard labour or?
It's milking cows every day.
Oh yeah.
And obviously learning a shit ton, because I haven't milked cows. We were dry stock farmers when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So, which has been a really good challenge. But I'm pretty, I've got good farm skills from growing up on the farm, fencing and things like that. But mate, farming for me is I couldn't do an inside desk job or an inside any job really. Yeah. I'm not that kind of guy, so I just really enjoy what farming does for your family life and your lifestyle, and it's just me right up my alley, outside and living the dream, really.
How good. And that's you forever, you think, till you retire?
Yeah, I don't think I'll do the coaching, mate. I haven't really got I can't really I struggle to get what I'm wanting across in with good literacy.
Yeah. But you got so much knowledge in there. I know a lot of people use you as a mentor or a coach, so it'd be a shame to not see you in the coaching scene in some way, but hopefully as maybe a mentor or something for some of these young props.
Yeah, mate, I'm happy in that space. Ask me a question. If I know the answer, I'll run you through it. But yeah, it's sort of coaching. It's a big gig, eh? People don't realise coaches do so much work behind the scenes. I mean, they're putting in 14, 15-hour days, and they're away from family the same as a player, but they get none of the treats.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realise that.
No.
It's no. And I mean, you spend half your week on a computer, and then guys go out there and don't listen to anything you said. I mean, it must be so frustrating. And then you've got to not blow your stack the next week when you do the review about what you told them to do and they didn't do it, and articulate some lovely words to make them maybe do it next week. So it's a tougher gig than people think.
Summed it up in a nutshell right there, coaching 101.
Yeah, exactly. So, no, I'll stick to my farming, mate, and hunting. We've got the hunting business as well. Helly is, we're 50-50 in that, but Helly does a lot of the work while I'm obviously playing rugby and milking cows. So, thanks for that, Helly. But that's a cool business as well. Also gets us out of Taranaki and down to Queenstown for a bit of the year doing that. And, yeah,
Mate, how good. Wait, what a career. But as always, we've gone to our Instagram for some questions, and holy heck, we've got plenty for you. First question, best Waddy story, Richard Watt, one of the greats.
Oh, wow. What's a good Waddy story? He's got so many, mate. I should have, yeah. The main Waddy story for me, mate, is like he coached me for 10 years. And he's old school, and I used to just break me. Like, we don't like doing full contact during the week as a player. And Waddy would get up there on a Monday, you're still sore from the weekend, and he'd be like, right, boys, we're going to do lineouts. We're playing the Germans this weekend, which is the Crusaders, and we're going to maul them. So we're going to go out there, and we're going to bang, bang. We're going to bang, bang, round the corner. And he would and then we'd go outside and just literally tee off on each other for 25, 30 minutes while you backs are trying not to look and laugh as you're just doing playing touch or something. And mate, he did that to me for 10 years. And I was just like, I can't take another day of this. But it got us to where we got to, and it was just hard case. But yeah, there's plenty of crack up Waddy yarns, mate. I don't know if he's naive or oblivious to the world sometimes, but should he get himself in some situations?
Mate, one thing I have noticed is you're very good at coaches' impressions. Yeah, that's about 4 of them now that you've absolutely nailed.
Oh, mate, yeah. God, he is a next level coach, old Waddy. He's a good man.
Okay, good stuff. Next question, hunting one. Best hunting yarn. Cheers, Horn.
Oh. Well, me and Adam Hill have done a lot of hunting together. And a lot of drinking together. I remember one time actually because I didn't know, but I'd asked Helly's wife out on a date when we were young fellas, before they were together. She was a lifeguard at the Dunedin Aquatic Centre. And she was hot. She's hot. And she was up on the lifeguard thing. And back then I was a bit of a lad, and I thought, oh, shit, I'm going to ask her for her number. And the boys were like, Kahui in there. No, you won't. And I was like, I'm doing it. And I walked up to her and hit her up for her number. She gives me a number, and anyway, messaged her. And then she's in Dunedin. I get back to Hamilton. I'm like, couple of messages like, this is not going to go anywhere. What am I thinking? Didn't message her back. And unbeknown to me, she had a boyfriend at the time who she didn't like. He was a bit of a dickhead or something. So she was, maybe I was the replacement. So she messaged me back. And anyway, me getting her number gave her the courage to bin him, and then ended up with Acid Man, Hilly. But I didn't know any of this. So I go to Japan and I come back, and Adam Hill's playing at the Hurricanes. Didn't know the guy from a bar of soap. And he doesn't really, he's dog on me, like didn't really give me the time of day. And I was like, who's this bloody Adam Hill lad? And anyway, he found out that I was into hunting, and he was keen on hunting. So we went hunting together. He was like, oh, bugger it. He's the only guy on the Canes that hunts. So we went hunting. And then I didn't know so we got on real like house on fire, hunting every day off. And we went, buddy, shot all sorts of things. And one day we're in a hut in up, what's it called? Oh, it's a river up in Canterbury. And we'd stashed tomahawk steaks and a heap of piss, like 3 boxes of beers and a bottle of whiskey in this hut, and then flown up to this other hut, and it took us all week to get back to this hut. So by the time we get back there, mate, we know we've got tomahawk steaks, beers, whiskey. We're just like, we're on here, like weeks worth of walking around in the Southern Alps. Get back to the hut, it's snowing, and we just get the fire cranking, and we're into this piss. Cooking our steaks, and we're playing cards, and then he says to me, he's drunk, and he's like, yeah, you know why I didn't like you when you first moved to the Hurricanes? When you came back to the Hurricanes? I was like, No, I sort of got the feeling though. He's like, yeah, well, because you tried to hit on my missus. And I was like, geez, Helly, what shit, mate, I'm sorry. When was this? And he tells me the yarn. I'm like, she wasn't even your missus. And I didn't, nothing happened. I messaged you twice, and then we both were like, well, this ain't working. And, yeah, we ended up having a bit of a wrestle on the floor and woke up the next morning. And we're supposed to be leaving the next morning. Woke up. We both slept on the floor in our undies, just woke up, still snowing. Oh, yeah, no, we won't be going. The choppers don't fly in the snow. We'll be sweet. So we hung over, went outside to get our trophies. We'd shot all these trophy bull tar, and they'd been taken away. Like, they were gone.
Yeah.
We later found out that ferrets and that do that when you're at those huts. So we lost our trophies. Long story short, we put on the stew because we thought we were in there. It's all snow. There's about a foot of snow on the ground. We're sitting there like licking our wounds, and then this chopper turns up, lands right outside the hut, and we're sitting around. We haven't packed anything. There's stew on the stove. Oh, mate, we chucked the stew out the window, quickly got all our shit chucked in this chopper, and we're out of there. But it was a hard case. He'd held on to that for like 2 years that I'd dated his missus, and then he hits me up in a hut in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, one of the greats. One of the great yarns.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Yellow card to game ratio playing for Coastal.
Who's asked that?
Oh, I'm not too sure.
Oh, mate, it'd be high. I'm pretty sure I got four yellow cards in a season, and I only played about 6 games.
Oh, good ratio.
I had a tough run up there. I think, I don't know, there's some sort of Taranaki club rules must be different than Super. I can't seem to adjust. I'll tell you a quick yarn about a yellow card, though. I'm standing behind the poles, behind the horns sin bin, and this little guy walks over to me, and he's got a hoodie on, and he's walking into the try line, you know, when you're standing behind the horns, and then the plays carry on. And I'm standing, and I'm pretty fuming, you know. I got plenty of, like, the club boys gave me plenty of lip as I was walking off, and, oh, big hurricane, and, you know, this and that. And, you know, have fun in the bin sort of thing. And this little weedy guy walks over, he's got his hood on, I can't see his face, and he goes, oh, Bamma, up to your old tricks, eh? And I was like, still pretty pumped up. I was like, who the F's this? And I was like, I just thought it was some random.
Yeah.
And he comes over, pulls his hood off, and there's Snakey.
Oh, true.
And he's into me, and I'm just ready to give him an earful. Hey, I was cracking up. It was a hard case. It was one of my binning days.
So many. Okay, next one. This looks like a good one. How do you know Nikki Watson?
Oh, no, we're just mates from, I just met her actually when I was playing at the Chiefs through another girl that I knew.
Okay.
Which was cool, actually, because I used to have a pull out of Sports Illustrated on my wall when I was at boarding school, so it was great meeting her.
Okay. Has Ben ever done a nudie run?
Plenty. There's actually a few.
Yeah.
The Hawke's Bay initiation is a full field, 4-corner nudie run, which is phenomenal. I actually I never used to go to the Hawke's Bay end of season piss up. Being old and that, I thought, oh, you know. Anyway, so with this one year, I got on the Terps after the last game, pretty bad. I was living with Jeff Cridge. I got on the Terps anyway, and then I got home about 5 a.m. and Crabby won't let me sleep in her room, so I'm in the spare room nude. And I wake up to this noise, and I'm like, what the F's that? And it's the boys. They'd got the party bus, drove to my house, parked outside, and there's 30 of them in my house chanting,
Oh, wow.
on the bus, on the bus. And I'm full starkers, and I jump up out of bed, run out, and there's 30 dudes standing there just on the bus. And they dragged me out. I had no clothes. I had to borrow clothes. I'm full nude just getting on this bus, mate. Off into the abyss of Hawke's Bay public. It was, they got me good. It was pretty cool. Thankfully, I ended up getting some clothes, but yeah.
Okay, this is more serious. Toughest scrummaging opponent over the years?
Oh, I had a few. These are all pretty tough now because I'm pretty shit at it. Big White Crocky, me and Big Crocky have had a few battles. He's had my number most of the times. Never quite managed to work out the big god Croczilla, but Joe Moody's pretty tough. Yep, those two are pretty good. Crocky's the number one.
Okay, 2 more questions. This one, it's probably around how you look so young still. Does he have any greys?
No, for some reason I don't. I'm got a full crop, full head, lid of hair, and no greys. Even in the beard, which unlike Colsey, is he's pretty much a full silver fox now. No, I don't know what's going on there.
No dye, nothing.
No, mate, I don't put a lot of time into myself other than a great moisturising regime that I learnt, way back.
From DC, was it?
Yeah, might have been back in the DC. Cameron McIntyre, I think, showed me how to groom yourself.
Well, it's paid dividends. I should have probably jumped on that. Well, she taught me that.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Best piece of advice Ben May has for a Woodlad listener?
Oh, mate, just be yourself. It'll pay dividends in the long run because, I know they try and shape us into all sorts of things in this game, and in the long run, you just got to be yourself, and they'll come around because they came around to me. It took a good 10 years, but I think I'm finally fitting in. I have to laugh a story about that. When I came back to the Canes this year, there's a new the media girl, Bex. I don't think she'll listen to this. That's a hard case, but she says to me, I says, "Oh, g'day, I'm Ben." She goes, "Oh, I'm Bex." I said, "Oh, what's your name?" She says, "Bex. I'm the marketing girl." She goes, "Where do you fit in around here?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I've never fitted in around here, love." And I just left it at that. She had I'm pretty sure she was like, "What is this guy, the janitor?" Like, because I was wearing like my full farm kit, and she'd have been thinking, "Who's this old guy?" Started kicking around the base here. And now she's probably sitting there going, "Oh, he's a 100 gamer, the old mate." Yeah.
Oh, mate, that's classic.
Yeah. Hey, just one thing I've got for you after my words of wisdom. What about the night we're standing out there on the field? It must have been the last game of 2019. Me and you were having a chat. And was I on the bench that night? I think I was, eh?
Yeah, I can't quite remember. Yeah, you were warming up.
I'm pretty sure I was warming up and we we're just having a chat. And this thing comes up on the big screen, and it was a thanks to all the guys that are leaving. And it was like Nani, Lamape, and...
it was you as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been me. Yeah, it could have been me. Yeah. And retiring, these guys are retiring, and you had like not said a boo about retiring. And you were just injured, like you just had, you were contracted and you were just injured. And then Jimmy Marshall pops up, and you looked at me, and I looked at you. I was like, "When did you release that, bro?" And you're like, "Never told anyone. Like, I didn't think I was retiring." One of the great moments. I was like, "Oh, well, looks like you're off, son."
And I haven't played since, so
No,
they
I
definitely
haven't played,
knew.
so they must have known. But I do
I
think
know.
you were sort of contracted to Tasman or something, and maybe looking at coming back because you're not even that old. But geez, I had to laugh.
Yeah, mate, I definitely didn't think I was done when that went up there. I was thinking potentially if my rehab went well, I was going to come back and maybe try and play. But I think I was, what, 32? You were
Yeah,
37. I was
yeah,
like,
I
mate,
was, yeah.
I could get another 5 years here, but nah, they called it, and yes, I'm now done. So one of the greats.
A great moment, yeah.
Oh, but mate, what a journey, what a career, and what advice. Like you said in your advice, be yourself, and that's definitely something that you have lived by. I'm sure everyone who's played with you they'll know that. They'll have some stories about their times with Ben May, no doubt, because mate, you are such a lad. You're a team man for almost every side you've been involved in. You've definitely left your mark on the game here in New Zealand. So, mate, it's been awesome having you on the podcast and going through your journey.
Mate, great to finally be here. I won't do another one because the next one will be pretty boring if this one wasn't boring enough. So, yeah.
Mate, it was one of the greats. You're a lad.
Cheers to the listeners.